Hey, guess where I am? No, that's wrong. Guess again. I am in Los Angeles, California. Look at this. I'm also in selfie mode on this phone, which is why the camera shot looks so bad, but that's okay. You know what I look like. I am here in LA with my buddy Jesse Smith, and we're going to do a podcast tomorrow with Greg Crayola Simpkins. Greg, along with today's guest, is one of the headliners at this year's Richmond Arts Academy, which is the full day of education that's held after the Richmond Tattoo and Arts Fest. So when you come out to see me at the Richmond Tattoo and Arts Fest, you're going to want to stay one extra day and learn from great folks like Greg Crayola Simpkins and today's guest, Yomico. Jesse and I sat down with Yomico recently. We didn't get to do it in person. We did it via Zoom. But we got to sit down with Yomi recently and talk about tattooing, talk about painting, talk about teaching, all kinds of things like that. Really a great episode. If you don't know Yomico's work, I'm sure you do. If you don't know it, though, you should check it out. He's really next level doing this crazy kind of surrealism, realism, illustrative kind of stuff. Really beautiful tattoos. And a really great guy. I had never met him before this interview, but enjoyed getting to know him a little bit. I'm looking forward to getting to know him a little better in Richmond this fall, this coming October, and you should definitely be there. Also, before we get started on the episode, I want to thank today's sponsor, Tattoo Trunk. They've been sponsoring us for a couple of months now, and you've probably heard me talk about them before, but Tattoo Trunk is awesome. They are doing some really cool things with modular tattoo systems so that you can pick up your gear and set it up on the go, whether it's at a convention or at a guest spot. You can set up your station in 9 seconds flat, 7 seconds flat. You can get a 10% discount on their sets by using the code Fireside. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below. Thank you to Tattoo Trunk. Thank you to Jesse Smith for involving us in this year's Richmond Arts Academy and just in the Tattoo Fest altogether. It's one of my favorite shows. And thank you to Yomico for taking a little bit of time to hang out with us and share his big tattoo brain with us. Thanks as always for supporting what we do, and I'll see you at the end of the episode. So we haven't met before. I was going through. I know your work. I was going through and looking, kind of doing some deeper dives on your work today. You're doing a lot of teaching, huh? I saw you did like some photography stuff, and then some like live workshops where you're having people tattoo on fake skins and all that. So big part of it, huh?
Yeah. Now I try to focus in just to be part of the positive side of the industry. Though I always say that. Man, tattoos give me everything. I have everything. Even my wife, my family, just thanks to tattoo. So I have a lot of things in my life just thanks to be tattoo artist, just done tattooing. And for me, after so many years, I always like the idea to teach it and show people. But now, after 20 years of my career, for me, it's like, it's time for me to return something to the industry, to return something nice, to be part of the positive change in the industry. Especially those days when you see so many crazy things, people doing so many things with no any direction. For me, it's like, okay, if I have the chance, I have the opportunity to be part of the teaching the people the good way to do things, because I always say it's two ways to do everything. The easy way, you can go to the crazy thing, drama, blah 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 blah. Or you can go to the other side. It's a long way, but it's the most beautiful way that you can do everything nice. You can be part of the positive. You can be part of the productive side of the industry. And that's why I start to teaching people about photography, tattooing, for beginners, for advanced, for everything. So I try to share my knowledge to the people.
Yeah. The thing in the little snippet of your photography, the pitch for your photography workshop or course, I forget what it is. What you were talking about, people asking what type of equipment to get, and how you associated high-end cameras and high-end lenses with great photography, but then you've kind of stepped back and realized that it's all technique based, and that fits with tattooing so well. Everyone's asking. I'm sure you get questions constantly about what cartridges you use or what machines or what voltage or whatever, right?
All the time, especially also in photography, because sometimes people believe if you buy the most expensive is the best. But I try to explain to the people, especially in photography or video, you don't necessarily need to have the most expensive camera, the most expensive lens. You need to understand how to use it. how to use it. You know, you create a podcast, you understand how you can do an amazing thing, but maybe not not the most expensive lens. If then it's nothing if you had a expensive lens, but you don't know how to use it, it doesn't work. So it's better invest the money in knowledge, take your time to learn, take your time to understand how photography and video works, and later you start to say, okay, now I need a expensive lens because I know how to use it. But sometimes people do the opposite. They start to spend all thousand of money in camera just to shoot it in GPS, put it on Instagram, and they buy the 60 megapixels camera just to post on Instagram, and they say, man, you don't need 60 megapixels camera just to post your photo on Instagram. You need just a good photo. You need a quality photo. It could be 5 megapixels, but if it's a good photo, it's more than enough for social media. So try to teaching that different to the people is how knowledge is more, at the same time, is more valuable to have the more expensive tools.
Right. Yeah. Jesse, you kind of do something similar in your seminar when it comes to color and things like that, about how you've broken down you've simplified everything in your tattoo process to make the to reduce options, I guess, to keep from getting distracted, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main reason I started doing it was because of the quality of the inks. You know, as we all know, orange typically doesn't hold up as long as other colors. So I was just trying to figure out a way to like get the purest of the colors, and that's how I ended up on the limited palette. Because I think I've told you this before. There's like 14 base colors, at least in the internal set. And when you actually see what those 14 base colors are, you realize that half of them you wouldn't even want to tattoo with because the viscosity is weird or something like that. But then the other ones don't hold up, or they're very difficult to put in, like magentas are very difficult to put in. So I just narrowed it down to the ones that held up the longest and that were the easiest to put in.
Right. Yeah, your tattoos are very, complex, and it looks like you probably use a pretty big color palette, but I'm sure that you kind of had to go through a process to I would imagine it would be easy to get overwhelmed. For example, trying to teach someone to tattoo in the way that you tattoo. Like I was watching the clip of the people who are in your workshop working on fake skins. Do you find that you're having to dumb things? I hate to use the term dumb things down, but dumb things down for people.
But you know what the most crazy is, when people see my work, they believe I use a huge palette, and it's not.
Really?
If you see my palette, it's super short. The thing is, short stories. When I learned tattooing, and when I started tattooing in Venezuela, of course I didn't have the money to buy the colors, and I only have the time to buy just 6 colors. That's it. And I learned how to mix in my colors. It's funny because sometimes at that time, of course, I feel like I don't have the money and super, it's hard to get colors, and I'm learning how to mix in my color. At that time, I didn't see it, but thanks to that, I'm learning how to create my own palette without use huge or so many colors. And I started to understand because I painted a lot too, and I started using the same technique as oil painting. It's just with the base color, you create your colors. For me, my technique to work, sometimes when I do my seminar for people, it's a little bit hard to understand because honestly, my palette is only full mixing. I'm mixing every color. Because for me, I do realism. Maybe for someone to do like Jesse, to do like a more cartoon stylish, they need more like basic color, like yellow, but for me, when I start to do realism, for me, color absorb colors. So nothing is pure black, nothing is pure blue, nothing is pure yellow. So, and I try to bring that to my tattoos. That's why when you zoom in my tattoo, in the little spot, you can see so many different gray of color. You can see it because for me, it's easy just when I'm working, just mixing the color right away. I go to the skin, and I learned that just for mixing my palette. I only used, to be honest, if you see to make a big piece, it's just maybe 12 colors. I'm mixing everything. Sometimes you see another artist using that big table or huge. So people need like dark red, medium red, light red. If you're gonna use the gray, for me, just with 2 colors, I can do everything. So I don't wanna say it's good or bad. It's work for me. It's the way that I learn. But honestly, it's helped me a lot to make my work faster, to create my own palette. And I think it's something that people catch the attention when seeing my tattoo is my palette. And they ask me which color I use, but at the same time, I use everything. I just try to capture, giving pretty the same base of the oil painting. I try to bring it to my tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, that's the thing, relating it to painting, limiting your color palette, it kind of automatically creates some sense of harmony, you know, in the entire piece, because everything is kind of coming back to you're either warming something up, cooling something down, making it darker, making it lighter, but you're working from something out. Whereas, you know, the more that these palettes off the ink lines, you know, portrait sets or earth sets or all these, the more of those you start to stack up at your station, the more you realize, like, I can't even tell at all what they're going to look like. If they're all, I use Jesse's method tattoo system, so I see the bottoms of all of my inks, and I look at a lot of them, and I'm like, I don't know really what that is. If I were to, you know, like, I don't know where to plug it in. But if I start with just, you know, with 8 to 12 or, you know, a limited set, I can get to something that approximates that color, and I'll know where it came from, right?
Yeah. Also, I released my ink sale last year. It's 12 colors. It's called Renaissance style. It's a Renaissance. The ink set is called Renaissance. It's just 12 colors. It's my basic palette. When you combine with the full color, the yellow, the basic color, when you combine the 2 ink set, honestly, for me, I can do everything because I have everything what I need there, and also have create a color. Because one of the mistakes that even I made it in the beginning is some people believe that they have to use a black color to mix in. And honestly, black is not the right color. If you need a dark red, you don't have to mix it with black. So if you need a dark blue, you cannot mix it with black. And also, I create a color. It's a mixing between warm color and cold color. I use that color for mixing everything without burn my original pigment. So it's like understand how the basic beginning of the oil painting or the painting. Sometimes it's more. It's because when you try to minimize, make everything more easy for me, it's just make my work faster too.
Right. Yeah. Along those lines, now we don't have to stay on color for too long, but along those lines, I just podcasted last week with David Shavitz, a really awesome oil painter. And he's making his way. He just started a tattoo apprenticeship, but he's been a very established oil painter for many years. And he is apprenticing under the guy who owns Empire. Colt, is that his name? Colt? Empire Inks. And I guess they built a set, I didn't realize, but their color set is named after oil paint. So their colors are alizarin crimson, burnt umber, cadmium red. And so David, being an established oil painter, was able to set up his palette like in the exact same order as his painting palette, using essentially the same colors. Obviously, the chemistry might be different. They might not be identical to whatever he's painting with, but you know, in the tattoo world, you know, tattoo inks are called whatever, you know, blood diamond or dragon flesh or something like that. Yeah. But like having having alizarin crimson and raw umber is pretty cool, you know, because you're like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. And at the same time, if you do colors, so it's super important to understand how color works. So I always say, you cannot be like color artists. We understand how the color theory and the basics of color it is. So if you don't know, you need to start it out because it's gonna make you work better.
Yeah.
Hey Yomi, what brand of ink did you create?
Sorry?
What brand of ink did you create your set in?
World Famous.
World Famous. Okay,
World
gotcha.
Famous. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that whole thing where we were talking about the colors reflecting the names of pigments and stuff like that. That's actually how I started the whole color fast thing, because I was doing it with Tramp, and I was like, we should do alizarin crimson and, you know, phthalo green and all that stuff. So then when I started playing with it, I was like, man, I need to get to the base of this first and get to, you know, and then I just kind of lost track. Because, you know, if you make a color that looks like that color, but it doesn't react the same.
Yeah.
So if you do like a raw umber and you mix it with, I don't know, phthalo green, you know, and they don't mix the same, then if you're a painter, you're going to head
Yeah.
off in different directions. You
You know,
know?
something interesting. I know you say don't too much focus in color, but it's something cool to people understand. So, for example, the black color in ink in tattoos is so particular because the base of the color, especially the black, you have to interpret it as a blue, and that's why when you mix it the yellow with black, it's coming like green. So when you understand that and you use the black color for mixes, it's gonna create the same effect that you're using the blue for change your color. That's why you cannot mix. If you wanna mix, you yellow more darker without lost the yellow pigment. You cannot use the black. That's the reason yellow when you mix it with black, it's coming green. So in this case, you have to use the opposite color that is like purple or violet color. In that color, your yellow is gonna be more like gold or more without lost the yellow pigment. So it's something interesting to understand, and it's cool because you had to do so many mistakes to understand that. I made it so many times. And the moment I say, okay, now I understand why. So that's why I like to educate and just to teaching that to the people. Also, we include in something that I taught to the brand is when I create my Inkscape, I create a free seminar. So people will buy the box, the Inkscape, have a QR code, and they have access to the free seminar. And I'm teaching them a color theory. I'm teaching people how to use the color, how color works, especially for tattoo industry, because it's not the same color in canvas, painting, or charcoal to the skin. So it's different reaction. That's why I created free seminar there too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, because you have to educate the people, man. You have to show the people. That's the problem. I think this is one of the problems in the industry now is so many products. Cream, needle, ink, machine. It's thousand. But nobody tell you, hey, this is the way that you have to use it. How many ink sets you have now? People buy ink sets, say, okay, now how I use it? Now what have to do with this color? So that's also every artist have a style. So that's always recommend to the people. Every time you're gonna buy something, what artist signature, look what this artist doing, and check if is this what you need, because it's like you buy a realistic set or for somebody to do a traditional. That's so different. So or the opposite. So that's why it's important teaching the people how to use the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as your design, your tattooing in general, it's interesting. As I flipped through, I was looking at your work. Obviously, you're doing a lot of color realism and surrealism. But then I noticed occasionally you'll get like way out into, like I saw a piece that kind of had this anime sort of look, and then some that had this kind of graffiti sort of stuff in the background. And so it seems like you're pretty comfortable like taking different approaches. I mean, I can't imagine that those things, that the design process is the same for some of your like really detailed and believable surrealist or work versus some of the more like the whatever anime or more traditional kind of style. Whereas Jesse, a lot of his stuff is all kind of coming from the same world. It's all approached the same way. You can kind of like the process is very similar. Is that true? I mean, does your process change a lot?
Yeah. For me, I try to always do something fun to not be boring. To be honest, it's try to make something new, challenge, new, fresh idea, try different things, even black and gray. In this moment of my career, I start to feeling more in love to do more black and gray than color. I didn't post too much black and gray because I do black and gray, but when you compare it with black and gray artists, I say that I need to work more to make him better. But at the same time, for me as an artist, is when you have your own style, when you have your direction, the only way to make fun or to make something new is take a new challenge. That's why for me, I can do a realism piece, I can do an anime, I can do like cartoon, I can try to experiment surrealistic, because at the same time, I don't want to repeat myself. I think to be honest is one of the problems. I don't want to say the problem, but I can say that something to make an artist just keeping there always is understand the new challenge, you understand the new thing to create, because the art changed, the art have our own evolution. If you compare tattoo now, even now from 5 years ago, it's totally different. New style, new creation, new things. Everything's like new. It's like a new refresh to that. New artists, new way to use the color. Even the black and gray now is nothing compared to the black and gray 5 years ago. It's totally different. And when I see that, for me, I like try. For me, it's like I wanna try. I wanna see. I wanna take the challenge, because for me, artists, also you have to auction. You can be in a comfort zone, stay there. That's good. I don't want to say it's wrong. I don't want to say it's bad. Everyone take their own decision. But it's fun when you take new challenge. It's fun when you take like new rigs to say, okay, I want to see what I can do with this. Even try to mix these when you style. You're always going to find something fun. Even if you don't like it, you can say, it's not for me. But at least you try, you know? And for me, it's that. For me, every time I receive new challenge, new idea, if I like it, if I can see I can translate this idea to a new concept or something to make challenge, I always take it. I always take it, because I think it's a good way to keep your career, you know, fresh. Because if we still as artists keep doing the same that we did for the beginner, we can. It's an option, but you know, I think new challenges make your career just better and better.
Yeah, definitely. Do you find that you're are you adopting new technologies when it comes to on the design side, on the front end? I assume you're doing drawing a lot digitally, but what I was thinking of when you were just talking is I tried something recently, an app on the iPad that basically would pull in. You can put all of your pigments in, and you pull in your reference or you pull in your drawing or whatever, and it like maps out the exact inks you're going to need and shows you how to use them all. And I was like, or where they all go, almost like a paint by number. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I'm going to try that. So I put in all of my inks, and I pulled in my drawing reference and my photo reference, and I started trying to use it. And I realized like, this is like work. It's not like tattooing at all. Like I feel like I'm spending more time staring at my iPad than I am staring at the tattoo. So I tend to, when new technologies come around, I'll try to adopt them. And then to your point, realize very quickly, like my process kind of has to stay where it was. Like I don't want to get distracted looking at new shiny things on the iPad. Do you adopt that kind of stuff and use it?
It's specific that point that you say not, because I did it before. You know, if you take the tool in Procreate or Photoshop, you choose the color. I use the pencil on the side. You're gonna choose the color. You're gonna choose the part that you can see it. But at the same time, I like the idea. And again, for me, technology is amazing, especially now. AI, different tool, even the stencil. There's so many things around. It's cool, use it. I love use it. I use it. But sometimes I like use my brain. Sometimes I like just to be more creative, because I still believe we are artists. We need to reinterpret. We need to give you our soul as a human, because if we left that part to the machines, you're going to start to lose your identity. You're going to start to lose whatever you can do as a human, whatever you can give it to this tattoo as a new interpretation, you are giving this auction to a machine. Again, I don't want to say it's bad. I don't want to say it's good. It's my way to see it, because if I see a picture or reference, photo or surrealistic, I don't want to copy exactly that. I want to give it to this my name. I want to give it, reinterpret my colors. I want to add something to how my side. I don't want to the iPad or the AI decide for me. And I believe, to be honest, it's something that I see these days. You see an amazing technique. It's crazy how artists now have a really clean technique, injection, everything beautiful. But I'm missing something. I'm missing soul. I'm missing something original. If you see now so many good tattoos, but everything looks like the copy of 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 the copy. But what is the problem now? Because we are giving to the technology decide for us. We are just trying. We're creating this copy of the technology side. So if this design is made by AI, whatever, I'm gonna copy exactly. I think this, to be honest, for me as an artist, is a risk that you can take it, because if you give it the opportunity just to the machine, what's gonna happen the day that you don't have the machine? What's gonna happen in the next few years when people can say, "Oh, this tattoo is belong to"? That's why people will see Jesse Smith tattoo say, "This Jesse, this Yomico, this guy, this other guy," because we develop some identity, so identified. You know, we develop something is our own signature. But at the moment you give it that signature to the AI or the machine, you lose the opportunity to create or develop your own style. So I use the technology. I use it. I use AI. I use everything. I use the iPad, Procreate, even the stencil. Sometimes when I'm rushing after tattooing, boom, I'll create the stencil. But when I have the time, sometimes I use my hand stencil. So I always try to keep it in the both sides. You know, use the technology, but at the same time, I don't want the technology using me. So I want to use the technology. I don't want the technology using me. So I see it that way.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What are your thoughts on that, Jesse?
Yeah, I always tell people when I went to art school, they would really push on to reference. So you had to push reference for everything. So if you wanted to do like a hand holding a tattoo machine, then you would take a photo of your hand and then you would copy it. So I used reference for the 5.5 years that I was in art school. And then when I got out, I couldn't draw out of my head anymore. And it really bothered me. So I stopped using reference and forced myself to draw out of my head. And I realized that, like Yomico is saying, is if you're, I feel like it's different parts of your brain. If you don't use this, then you have to you have to reignite it in order to learn how to do that again. So it took me probably a year before I felt like I could draw back out of my head without having to use reference. So I think the same thing is going to happen with technology is, if people get too reliant on it, they're going to, that part of their brain is going to wear down. And if they want to get out of it, they're going to have to really try. It's going to take some exercising.
Right. Yeah, and we're talking about, like, to Yomico's point, like someone who's technically very talented and able to reproduce a photograph and still kind of losing their own voice, within losing their own unique marks within the piece. And then, but for every one of those, there's hundreds of people who are trying to, who are using AI or using photo reference or whatever that don't have the skill set to translate it to tattooing. And you see that, even probably more often. And there's nothing in my mind, like, I think you should be able to tattoo what you can draw, but there's no reason you should try to tattoo stuff that you can't draw, And so the way that you can manipulate AI, and Jesse, you and I have talked about AI a lot, and how we can build these custom models that are, based off of, we can really train these AIs to do some cool stuff. But if you can't reproduce the marks, you're really fighting an uphill battle, as a tattooer. At least when you were drawing roses out of from a flash page or out of a book or something like that, you had to physically make the marks. Now, Yomico, to your point, these stencils look like photos, so it's like, you think like, oh, it's already all there. I can just trace that and make it look like that. But you can't, you can't.
No, also another thing that I believe is, man, one of the main goals for artists is say something. That's why artists are artists. Yeah. That's why a musician create a song and you can listen to that song so many times because you touch the people. That's why when you take a picture, and this picture you can see this picture so many times, or that's the reason you go to the museum, you stand out from a painting for hours. It's because they say something. Yeah. For me, as an artist, it's hard now because the new way to, especially in tattoo, the new way to understand the tattoo is to be copy paste. And again, especially as an artist, I do surrealistic. Yeah, I copy paste, I can do it. But at the same time, we need to give it something. You need to try to make this art, this key, to transform something meaningful. Because otherwise, it's like I always put an example. It's like a Coca-Cola You know, nobody go to this. You go to the store and you know that you say, oh, which Coca-Cola want to take? Let me see this. No, you take it aside. You don't try to see what's the best Coca-Cola. It's the same. You take just one. That's it. But the moment that you want something healthy, you want something good, you want something for your body, you want to find a nice use, you take the time and say, oh, what is the best fruit? What is this? So, okay, I'm going to take this one. It's the same happen in life. Is the tattoo artist in the industry is, we as an artist, if you want to have like long-term career, you need to offer something else to the people. You need to offer something else to the people who want to get tattooed by you. Otherwise, if you start to be like Coca-Cola, is thousands of Coca-Colas outside. Nobody want to say, oh, I want to choose this guy because it's special. No, you want to be part of the thousands of people. By the moment you take your time to draw, to understand anatomy, you give me something else to develop your style. In that moment, your career start to be based on your name. And it's the moment where the client gonna say, oh, I want tattoo by this guy because he offers something different to the rest. I think that's the way that I see this.
That's a great analogy. I like the Coca-Cola analogy. Great point. It's funny because so many sort of when people start tattooing, they're looking for a tattoo style very often. They want to do more neo-trad work. They want to do more new school work. And I've done a seminar for years now, probably close to 10 years, called Find Your Style. And it addresses from the very start the difference between personal style and tattoo categories. And, the thing is like new school didn't exist. The name new school didn't exist until folks like Jesse started doing the thing that became new school, but they weren't mimicking new school. They were mimicking their influences, and it turned into that thing. And so, that's the big difference. And one of the big downfalls, I think, with tattooers coming in who feel like they have to grab onto something very quickly, just to to get good for one thing and to make a name for themselves. But to your point, if you're not exploring, if you're just trying to find the elements of a style or a category, you'll probably never get there.
Yeah, and at the same time, if you want to live, if you really want to live in like being a tattoo artist, it's important to do it. That's why Jesse Smith for for the whole career. It's Jesse. People is looking Jesse Smith because it's not everyone can do what Jesse Smith is doing. Not everyone Robert Hernandez. Nobody can do as a Robert Hernandez doing. Nobody can do like a Steve Busher. Or so many names I can give it to you, but even they do a style that so popular now, but who have the signature, who have the sign, who have the character, who have this. It's take time, exactly like you say. It's not gonna happen one day to next day. It's gonna take time. It's a lot of mistake. It's a lot of things that you have to do, but have to be the goal is to develop your own style. Otherwise, you're gonna be more Coca-Cola in the supermarket. That's it.
True. Yeah, good analogy. I like that. So as far as the seminar that you're doing, because I'm sure I mentioned it in the intro because I'd record those separately, but as far as the seminar that you're going to do in Richmond this year, do you know what you're going to focus on since you do so many different things?
Yeah. How long we have for the seminar?
Is it an hour, Jesse? An hour and a half?
Yeah, about an hour.
Okay, how to compress everything. So
yeah, I know.
No, one of my seminar, I do seminar, 3-day seminar, 1-day seminar. Also, I'm a seminar just 4 hours. For me, try to compress the most usable information. Especially, I believe we can. Of course, we talk about machine. People want to listen to that, but for me, it's talk about more about as artists, people to giving the most useful advice possible, some advice that they can help to the artists to grow as an artist. Because about technique, ink, machine, of course, we wanna talk about it. We wanna talk about how color theory and everything, but it's so many points that the artists don't see in the seminar. Is about what make you art different, what make you art, what make you stay for 20 years in this profession, in this industry. Also talk about some advice about something that nobody told us about the financial career. We as artists work bad, like driving the money. We always do so many mistakes with the money because we tattoo it today and we believe tomorrow I do more, tomorrow I do more, tomorrow I do more. But when COVID happened, when that next day stopped for 6 months, 1 year for me, I realized, oh shit. So what's gonna happen if tomorrow something with my hands? What's it about? It's just a broken finger. what can I do? So I try to talk to the people. Everything about in my seminar is just everything about the persona, everything about the artist, everything about the technique. I try to talk about everything in the seminar. Also photography. I try to give it time to every point, but super important make key, because I think that's one of the I always taking seminar. For me, one of the most strongest seminar, and when I listen the artist talk about his mistake, his everything that he do, what everything he don't do it. So for me, that helped me a lot more to understand what kind of needle to use, what kind of machine you use. We want to talk about that, but especially when you have like just hours, just try to be more precise in the point. This seminar is gonna be focusing in both sides.
Yeah, I think that's, and that forces you, like, as some, as the presenter, to really distill down like what's important. I find that a lot coming on and sitting in front of these cameras and talking all the time. That if you're, and I'll just keep talking. A lot of times I said what I needed to say immediately, and I didn't make anything better with the next 20 minutes. Just like that made it more complicated. My business coach says no one solves a problem by adding complexity. You solve a problem by simplifying it, distilling it down, and that's something I'm always trying to, kind of learn myself. So,
that's good. It's good. It's good listening the vision of the artist, and now more than for me, I want to listen how this guy is there. So this is my vision. If you want to take a seminar for somebody, I want to listen. Okay, what he use? Needle machine, the technique, cool, but how this guy stayed there for so long? Why he still there? Why he continued there? How many mistakes he made? What this guy doing when he feel frustration, when he feel bad, when sometimes we want to quit because it's a lot of stress. So what this guy reacting to that? Because this is same for everybody. It doesn't matter the style that you do. We're artists. We want to have the same mindset. We want to have frustration. We want to have problems. We want to have financial problems. We want to have existential problems. So everything is here. So how does guy drive the wave? How does guy surfing the wave to stand and to stick it going after your head is crazy? So I think every artist, if you never feeling that, you're gonna feel it one day. So and that's part of the artist.
Yeah. That's great.
We have to put Yomi at right before the lunch break so he can just keep going.
So he can go a little long if he needs to. Good call. I'm really excited for it. I can't wait. I'm excited to learn just a little more about your process. And I guess are you going to be there for the entire weekend? Are you?
Yeah. And also for me, it's cool because I never doing a seminar in English before because I was thinking my English wasn't good. Now
it's really good.
But now I feel more comfortable to do it. So now I start to make more seminar in English.
It's
we're gonna
great.
have a translator. We're gonna run your voice through AI.
Boy, little boys, like little kids.
Right.
Yeah.
If we were one of the big time places that we could just hand everyone out the new Ray-Ban Meta glasses and it translates in real life.
That's crazy, man. So many yachts gonna be gone. Translation is one of those yachts.
Yeah,
bro. At one point, you need just the glasses. That's it.
That's it. And I co-produced the Paradise Tattoo Gathering with Gabe Ripley, and last year we do the tattooing in a fishbowl where someone's on stage and the audience is out there and they ask questions. Well, the guy Seamus, I think he had the Meta glasses on, and so he was able to like stream his site, like what he's doing, to the big screen TVs with he just basically connected, and then everything he was doing, it was like streaming his Meta glasses. It's really cool. Yeah, like, well, that was the first time I'd ever seen them, so I borrowed them for the rest of the weekend and just went around recording stuff. And it was really cool.
That's good. Really cool. Really good idea.
That would be cool at a tattoo convention if all the tattoo artists were all, having screens behind them while they're tattooing.
Yeah, you could like put a screen on the main stage and like zoom around and see what people are working on.
Well, it's crazy how future is coming with this crazy technology everywhere. It's funny. It's super excited to see what's the next. A little bit scary, but sometimes okay. What's the next?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Back to the English Spanish stuff. Have you been working like? Do you do the apps and all this stuff to learn English, or are you just because you're immersed in New York and around English speakers, you're just getting better?
Okay. Before I moved to New York, I was living between Venezuela and Denmark, and I traveled to Denmark a lot. I was forced to speak English there. Also, when I was living in Venezuela, I studied English as a base course, just to have my base. In Denmark, it started to get a little bit better, but after I moved to New York, after so many years, of course, especially New York accent, you know, as a New York, what's up, everything's like, what's up, bro? It's making like strong accents. Okay, wait. Now just getting, it was a good challenge. Now I can say, okay, I'm ready to do everything, my seminar in English.
Yeah, it seems like you are. That was great. Well, man, we're about 45 minutes in or so. Jesse, is there anything you wanted to touch on, or you think we hit it all?
I mean, a few things. One, Yomi, did you go to art school in Venezuela?
Bro, no.
Just
This
all
is
self-learn.
yeah, self-learn. But I did, you know, in my small town, it was in the Venezuelan coast. I remember I always quit the high school because I was super boring for me. I never went to my class. And I escaped because it was a small square in the whole town where the old man's oil painting, they sit down in front of the ocean to paint in the ocean. And I spend time with this guy asking questions. So, you know, that they inspired me a lot. And that's why I started to learn my mixing my color for them. It wasn't a specific art school, but just by myself, just follow artists and ask questions. And that's the way I take my base skill. But the rest is just drawing all time, painting all time, and just try to, you know, self-develop. And to be honest, is you can go to the biggest art school in the world, but if you don't practice every day, if you don't paint, if you don't draw, it's nothing to do. So sometimes if you don't go to the art school, but you practice every day, it could be maybe the same result.
And so do you enjoy acrylic or oil?
Oil.
Yeah.
I like oil because it's giving more time. You know, it's like the process is giving time. You know, just also you can change your mind. For me, I have a product, I have an idea. I don't like it. It's a fuck. I gotta do another one. So oil give me time to involve this painting more. Acrylic is good when you have to do something like small practice, just to do faster. But you wanna do like take your time for do a painting. For me, I love oil.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then my other question is have you ever tattooed any celebrities?
Great question.
Yeah, of course. I have to do so. No, I don't have to say so many, but I have to do celebrity. You know, The Rock.
Which one?
Oh,
Which one?
the big boy. Maybe it's the biggest one, of course. So after doing so many Latino guys, the Latin culture that's so huge, the Residente, Juarez, Wizzing, The Rock, after doing soccer players and baseball players. Probably like actors, the biggest is The Rock. It's a funny story. It's a controversial story, but I don't know.
Do we have time for that?
Sure. What's controversy? I've got plenty of time. I always throw out the time just to let folks know. But yeah, give us a controversial story.
You want drama, yes.
No. We don't have to talk about it. We can talk about it on the back end.
Yeah. We're trying the convention.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but at the same time, to be clear, so when The Rock, I think, happened, exactly what happened every day in our studio is someone coming on tattoo. I say, I want to make something here, and it's a story. It's our story every day. The big difference is the name. That's why people is create all these, because it's a big name. But probably if it's not that name, nobody say nothing. But the thing is the name. That's why it's everything around that. But again, so to be honest, this man with me have been an amazing man. The Rock is I still have a good relationship. We still talk We still have a really good friendship, and I can say, thanks to the tattoo, I always say have the opportunity to connecting with beautiful people, not only celebrity, more than normal people. Musicians, doctors, journalists, and attorneys,
Drug
police,
dealers.
everything. As people yeah, just you make good connection. At the same time, it's like tattoo is a beautiful bridge, and you get connected with people everywhere. And it's so funny because especially with these celebrities is sometimes people see the celebrity untouchable, but for me it's crazy when the biggest celebrity in the world, when nobody can accent to this person, the only person to do celebrity, they come in like like a normal person and a humble side is a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
It is funny. It's funny because you see how many tattoo artists they have been really good connection with huge celebrities that people that never imagine they will connecting with them. And just because when the people love the words, when celebrity they want a good tattoo, they're gonna follow, they're gonna find a good tattoo artist. It's a nice connection. It's a nice connection.
Yeah, yeah. The Rock, I've never met The Rock, but he was here for 6 months or so. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and there was a show that recently came out called Young Rock, and he was here filming it, and he was an executive producer. He was here for months and months. This is where he started wrestling in the 80s or 90s or whatever. But he was, of course, he was on the local news all the time, and every time you saw him, he was stopping to talk to someone or was going into some old store that he used to go to when he lived at a trailer park here in Memphis, and seems like a really genuine...
No, it is, man. It is super nice, man. It's super. Sometimes, because you know what, sometimes celebrities are difficult to work, to your artists, because for celebrity, when they have an idea, they want just this idea because they don't listen. With The Rock, for us, took almost a year to do it. We started a conversation. It took time because COVID happened. It was in the middle of COVID. After COVID, nobody can trouble it, but we still continue talking about the project, the idea, what we're gonna do, what we can do. But it took time. Normally, celebrities want tomorrow.
Yeah.
And everybody running. Nothing gonna the problem happen. That's why so many celebrities, they don't have good tattoos. It's because they don't wanna take the time to make the process to have tattoo. And that's why Tuesday you see the crazy thing that they go to all the anesthesia to get crazy thing, because you say, man, tattoo is a process you need to live, especially if you want good one. If you don't like, if for you it doesn't matter the quality, go whatever you want. But if you really worry for your body, if you really want something nice, if you really want something that's gonna be with you forever, for the rest of your life, that need to take time. It's just like I always say, whatever you do for your body, you need to do it right and take the time. It's like I go to the doctor. You don't go to the doctor, hey, go to surgery tomorrow because I don't have time. Come on, bro. If you don't have the time for you, if you don't make your own time for your body, it's because you don't give it for yourself. So that's why I believe all the celebrity, when you want to rush in the artist, it's not the right way. You're never gonna get good tattoo if you rush in the artist, or if you wanna do everything fast because you don't have time. If you don't have time for yourself, it's because you don't give a fuck yourself. So that's my mentality.
Yeah, good point. That kind of, and it speaks to the kind of the advent of these tattoo teams and the anesthesia and all of this. It's the rush, and then being rushed to get through something, getting a back piece in a day or whatever. And it's funny because when you see those, it might be a team of great tattooers. And they're tattooing someone who's super fit, but then you look at the tattoo and you're like, man, I mean, what is that? I mean, it's executed, like you were saying earlier, it's executed well, but what's it about? I mean, I can't even tell what's happening.
It's not only that, as an artist, is when you work in a Russian time, you're never gonna do your best work. Especially even if you do collaboration, this kind of collaboration between 6, 7, 8 artists, bro. To do collaboration, you know how long time you need to sit down, redesign. Let's try this, let's try that. That take time. It's impossible to do that in 5-6 hours, rushing the time, working faster. It's not only that. I cannot imagine tattoo in that condition and cross your finger to this guy wake up. To this guy don't die. It's like, come on, man. To be honest, I don't know. I don't believe it's that worth. I understand people agree, people know, but this is my point. I live in for this industry for so many times. I still believe the best tattoo that you can get is when you give it the time to the artist. I just give it the time yourself to decide what you're gonna get for your body. You know, it's a different point of view, but I don't believe it's the right direction to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yomi and I have been working on our collaboration for 5 years now.
Yeah, that's right here.
Look
I'm
at how
excited to see
we're
it.
preparing for 5 years. It's gonna be the badass collaboration ever. 5 years preparing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm sure you're making a lot of great.
The person we're tattooing is still under anesthesia.
We found the person who was 50. We're preparing the person. Now he's 20 years old, so he can get it. We're working with the 22, maybe. Just to start
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, this year it'll happen.
Well,
Alien collab, no?
Yes, alien.
Jesse's fan of the aliens. I'm fan of the aliens, so we're gonna do something with aliens.
Aliens.
Some
Yep.
kind of alien collab. All right. Yeah, that sounds great. And
We're waiting to find the alien. That's the problem.
What?
The client had to be an alien. So we're
Client
waiting
is
for
aliens.
that.
Celebrity alien.
Yeah. If somebody find Elon Musk's phone number.
Exactly.
Well, Yomi, I'm really stoked that you're bringing The Rock to your presentation
it's
at
gonna be great.
Richmond convention. You didn't have to do that, man, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a surprise on the man. Sunday. The Sunday is gonna be sharp on the stage.
All right, I told you that was a good one. Thanks again to Yomico for taking the time. Thanks to Jesse for jumping on this podcast with us. And thanks to you guys for supporting what we do. And just one last time, be sure to join us at the Richmond Tattoo and Arts Fest this coming October. I'll link to the website so that you can go ahead and get your tickets. I will see you in the next episode.